My name is Marcus Stallworth, and I'm here to tell you why it's okay to be selfish. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. That probably goes against a lot of the fundamental principles that you've been taught probably your whole life. I'd like to give you an example of why that is okay. So self-care is a term that's often used to describe how we manage our social, emotional, physical health. There are a variety of other pieces that could be added to that. People in the helping field often spend a lot of time and energy working with other people, other families, other communities, oftentimes when they're at their most vulnerable state. And in those times, we invest tons of energy on the clock and off the clock on trying to provide supports, identify resources, and offer some sense of stability. What's very interesting about this concept is this: although we do a very, very good job, many of us, on identifying ways that families and communities could identify supports and safety, things of that nature, oftentimes we don't do the same thing for ourselves. It's very interesting. So although we understand that self-care is an important factor, many of us kind of put us at the back of the list. Consider this perspective. So in the business world, one of the great suggestions that are offered for people who are trying to really save some real money is to invest in yourself. And when you get a paycheck, big, little, the amount really doesn't matter. One of the greatest suggestions is that we figure out ways to make sure that we pay ourselves first, right? So it's almost like an investment in ourselves in order to maintain and build and develop a sense of equity in that sense, but, making ourselves a priority. Similarly, when we're working with families and communities, especially social workers and human services professionals, we need to really adopt that same type of principle and philosophy. Think about the last time you've been on an airplane. What is one of the things the stewardess might say to you? Although he or she might tell you how the weather is at our destination and what the turbulence may or may not be, they also share with some information with you and say, hey, even though we have no intent of having anything go awry with our flight, here are some things that you need to know. And when they go through the series of steps that you might need to do or take for your own safety, when they talk about the oxygen mask, what they will tell you is you must, in that scenario, put your own mask on first. Doesn't matter if your child, your loved one, your spouse, neighbor is next to you. In order to be able to be in your best position to get your own needs met and support yourself and help others, you need to make sure that you put your own mask on first. So in self-care, one of the things we talk about often is really being deliberate and intentional to make sure that we're meeting our physical, mental, and emotional needs. We could talk a lot about, secondary trauma, compassion fatigue. We could use all the catchphrases that many of us are familiar with. But what does that really look like in terms of delivery and application? So if we are helping others in the helping community, it's paramount that we do the same thing for ourselves, because if we're not our best self, we will not be in a position to provide our best for the people and families that we work with.